go through this trade together. So like I said, I want to get long dollar yen. I'm going to be risking, let's see, set up my trade here. Stop loss. So I want to put my stop loss below this low, which means I need to widen my stop just a bit at 100. Let's call it 105 pips. And we want to go ahead and go for a stop loss, 124 units. I'm just double checking and make sure everything is correct. And stop is, like I said, below the lows here. We're going to go ahead and click buy. I'm in the trade. There we go. Everything executed there. We can update this stop loss just a bit. There we go. Perfect. And entry is in. So I'm revisiting my my dollar yen trade. Please do not copy my trade. I lose trades all the time. I'm not here telling you to copy me. Now, when I say I lose trades all the time, losing a trade doesn't mean you're losing overall. The performance idea of trading is many, many trades. What happens? Not a single trade. If you only look at a single trade, if you YOLO on a single trade, you are going to be heavily disappointed very often in trading because it's really, really hard to know exactly what the market's going to do right here and right now. So I'm setting up my trade. Let me go ahead and get this trade alerted to members within the our private group.
The audience is now deaf.
All right, guys, so here is an update on my USD JPY trade that I took on live stream the other day. Just a bit of a catch up to everything that happened. I entered initially on my dollar yen trade here. Price went up in my favor a bit, but then we had kind of a sideways action. And this move right here was sort of some news out of Japan that briefly stopped me, unfortunately, out of my position. I put up a video about that and has since started to reverse. When it started to reverse, I picked back up into this trade another entry with a stop loss just below this previous low, basically saying, well, if it doubles back and goes back through the lows, that'll be confirmed that I'm out of this trade completely. Where I'm at with this now is the price has actually made a nice move to the upside. You can see we've come all the way up to test this zone in pink or red, at which point, previously we saw a lot of rejection. So what do I need to do here as a manager of this position? Now that I've got the entry correct, right? I got a good entry on this move. My job as a trader now is not to place a bunch of trades, close, look to get back in right here and trade like a superhero. My goal now is to keep it very simple. We've had a great run. We've come up to a level of resistance. Let's protect the trade a bit. So what I'm going to do now is my stop loss, which is marked here in the orange line that I've drawn here. I'm going to go ahead and move that up. Where do I want to move this stop loss? Well, let's just keep it really simple. We had major resistance here. We've broken through that level decisively. If the market reverses, I would rather not see this thing break through levels of support like that. And at that point, I would go ahead and close the trade for a profit. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to trail this stop up into profit. I'm locking $627 of profit on this trade, meaning that if price comes all the way back down and breaks through key support levels, we will still be in a profitable position and close out here. Now, if I know that markets could potentially pull back, why don't I just take profits up here? And that's a valid question that I often get within my trading videos. People ask, Nick, why didn't you just take profit at resistance? Well, if you've ever looked at trend theory or trend concepts, what you'll often see is that markets, when trending, tend to do something pretty repetitive. They tend to put in higher highs. And because I am a trend trader, my goal is not to take profits just because we hit a high, right? I'm not going to take profits here just because we've hit a previous high. As a trend trader, my goal is to try and hold things into new highs. That's the definition of trending, right? Based on the way I use it. Trends are higher highs, higher lows, or lower lows, lower highs. So in this case, I am going to, yes, lock in a trade in case this thing does in fact break back the other direction, but I'm also going to be very patient enough to try and hold this thing into a break to the new highs. I still have eyes on this 134.50 level. And if I zoom out, you can see why. You can see it's a major level of resistance looking left. So I am looking to see if price can make its way up into that area. Now, if price makes its way up into 134.50, what am I going to do then? Well, rinse and repeat. We're floating $1,500 on the trade right now. If the market flies up past resistance and puts in a higher low, guess what? I'm going to go ahead and trail stops further into profit and repeat the process that we just did. Not trying to predict the future, just trying to react to what price is telling me, which right now it is bullish until proven otherwise. The proof in the other direction would be, like I said, a broken level of support. I try and keep my trading really simple down to ifs and thens, right? Using market structure. If I get a good entry, then I'm going to look to trail stops. If the market breaks higher and puts in a higher low, then I'm going to look to trail stops again, so on and so forth until market structure breaks the other way. It's a really simple strategy, and when used in combination with the edge finder, where we got this bullish bias on a dollar yen, it can be a very profitable strategy. It's not 100% win rate, but it's a simple enough concept to try and find better entries, better confluence based on the fundamentals and sentiment analysis combined with technicals, and trying to let winners run to the best of my ability. So we'll see how this trade plays out. Again, looking to see if we can break through the highs, and if in that case it happens, we put in a higher low, that sort of thing, we'll be looking to trail stops further on USD JPY. All right, guys, so we are all out of USD JPY, and this trade actually closed on my live stream here today doing the CPI news. Gold shot to the downside, now jumping as we look at that. We just got stopped out of the dollar yen trade just like that. Wow, that's crazy. So just got stopped out of UJ for a trailed out of profit. Still a profitable trade, but wow, what a crazy morning with the dollar jumping like that and then plummeting through the lows. So CPI came out and spiked the dollar yen in both directions like crazy, ended up stopping me out. And yes, this is kind of an embarrassing one. Look how close it stopped me out for before reversing back up to the upside. Yeah, that's a little bit painful. It's going to happen though. Regardless though, we closed out a profit here of around $650 overall. And yes, it's not the $1,700, $1,800 profit we were floating at the time of, this spike to the upside. But I think at this point, we didn't get the breakout that we were looking for. And I'll go ahead and accept that, accept that loss, or not that loss, accept that that lesser than profit, knowing that, the market just did not do what I was expecting. I was expecting for this thing, when it drove higher, to be able to break higher, right? To put in that higher low. We did not get the criteria I was looking for. So we trailed out, we took that profit, and that's the end of the story. I mean, like I said, with trailing stops, it's a little bit painful when this sort of happens, when you get trailed out just before it shoots and continues. But what are you going to do? The markets are not that predictable. This stuff is going to happen. And if you accept that that's just going to happen sometimes, I have found that makes it a lot more bearable to trail a stop for the occasional really great runner that sometimes occurs. Now, what I'll add to this is that this might not be my last attempt to buy the dollar yen. There's nothing wrong with, like I did here, re-entering and looking for another opportunity to get long again. So we'll watch out for that. If the market doubles back and gives us a retest of some level that I like, hey, I might be in another trade. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you got something out of it, and see you next time. It looks like you made it to the end of one of my videos. Thank you so much for supporting my content. It really means the world to me. And down below in the description, I put together some of my best resources for aspiring traders who are looking to improve. I've got some free downloads that could help you, some broker recommendations, and if you'd like to join our Discord or get access to some of our trading software, all of that will be linked down below in the description. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.